Good afternoon or good evening. In this case, we have people joining us from around the world. Welcome to the 72nd Emerging Growth Conference and day 2 of our 2-day Super Virtual Investor Conference. I'm Anna Berry. Just a few notes. Today, we're running until about 4:30 p.m. Eastern. When we switch to the next company, you might see a black screen for a moment. That's just us moving over to the next presenter. If you do experience downtime for more than a minute or so, refresh your browser. And our platform does work best on Google Chrome. So if you're watching from an Apple device, you have to hit the play button to start the session. Now, all of our conferences, they're uploaded to the Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel. Please subscribe at youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. Now, today, during each company's presentation, you can submit questions through the webcast module, and we will attempt to address as many of these at the end of the presentation. And one last note, after today's event, you'll be redirected to the registration page for our next conference. So stay on or come back to reserve your spot early. Happy to begin with FBR Limited. It trades on the OTCQB under the symbol FBRKF and on the ASX under the symbol FBR. And it designs, develops, builds, and operates dynamically stabilized robots to address global needs. We're happy to bring on Mike Pivac, the CEO and Managing Director of FBR. Mike co-founded robotic construction technology company, FBR, and has led this company over the past 12 years from the proof of concept to the completion of its first prototype to now, where the first commercial Hadrian X robot is on its way to the US to complete commercial demonstrations for US customers. We are going to kick off this presentation with a video. Roll it.
FBR is a West Australian-based robotics technology company that has designed, developed and manufactured the world's most advanced construction robot, the Hadrian X. The global construction industry is in need of long-term, viable and sustainable solutions to current skilled labour shortages, workplace health and safety challenges, waste minimisation, time and cost overruns, and to meet the ever-growing demand for housing. FBR has developed a real and meaningful solution to these problems through the Hadrian X construction robot. A fully mobile, versatile solution providing technology breakthroughs that allow for significant reductions in waste, vast improvements in worksite safety, unparalleled speed and efficiency gains, along with a unique wall-as-a-service delivery model that provides time and cost efficiencies for builders unseen to date. With the capability to build structures up to 4 stories high and of any size, of almost any design, 24 hours a day, 7 days per week, in most weather conditions, encompassed with a comprehensive global patent protection strategy, we can now open up to the multi-billion-dollar addressable global market that exists for FBR. The work done to date has culminated in the opportunity for FBR to demonstrate this model and capability to some of the largest builders in the United States in our upcoming demonstration program in Florida. The Hadrian X is also ready-made for other international markets, and with work progressing with some of the largest industry participants in the world, we believe we are well positioned to deliver substantial solutions to some of the biggest challenges that face the global construction industry. Following on from the broad range of homes, townhouses and commercial structures already completed in the real-world environment, and the recent testing and demonstration programs completed in Western Australia, the Hadrian X has now been shipped to Florida to undertake a 10-house demonstration program, where the eyes of the world will be focused on this groundbreaking and industry-changing technology, developed and wholly owned by FBR. Following a successful demonstration program, FBR may form a joint venture to offer wall-as-a-service to US-based builders, potentially delivering up to 300 Hadrian X construction robots capable of delivering over 50,000 house structures per year into one of the largest construction markets in the world. To learn more about the Hadrian X construction robot, visit our website at fbr.com.au.
All right, the floor is yours, Mike.
Thank you, Anna. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for your time. It's great to have the opportunity to present FBR introduce you to the Hadrian X construction robot, which could revolutionise the construction industry in the United States, and to bring to your attention the plans for the company over the next few months, which will see us demonstrate this world-first technology to the US market. The Hadrian X is the only fully mobile, highway-capable outdoor construction robot in the world that can efficiently deliver building materials through a stabilised, telescoping and traversing boom, which is a very important development in outdoor robotics and of which FBR is the world leader. The Hadrian X is the only machine like it in the world due to our unique and enabling dynamic stabilisation technology. The machine can build up to 3 to 4 stories high of almost any design, simply by taking the design of the structure from the builder's architectural design software. We quickly convert it into a Hadrian build file, which produces the optimum lay sequence, calculates an exact bill of materials, and provides accurate visibility on build time and cost. Using current size blocks, the machine can produce up to 30 square yards per hour. However, the machine can also lay blocks up to 2 feet in length and up to 100 pounds in weight, which could then theoretically triple that output to 90 square yards per hour. The Hadrian X provides a number of solutions to real problems simultaneously. We've focused our attention on a number of improvements we wanted to be able to provide the industry. Firstly, the highest possible laying speed. Improvements to worksite safety, which has been slow to improve in the construction industry everywhere. 24/7 operability and in most weather conditions. And to vastly reduce the amount of masonry waste generated in the wall construction process, which is better on the environment and also provides cost savings to the builders in accurate ordering of materials and in waste removal. Important facts to note here is that up to 10% of all the bricks manufactured in the world end up as waste in landfill, and that construction is responsible for over 30% of all waste generated in the world today. Importantly, we provide the solution to one of the most apparent problems that brick and block manufacturers and residential and commercial builders face, which is the declining number of skilled and qualified bricklayers and masons. The number of people that undertake this 1,000-year-old trade is decreasing globally every day, with the average age currently in the mid-50s. Block laying is a component of the construction process that must be automated to alleviate this risk, and we've worked very hard to provide this alternative solution. The machine is now at the point of compelling commercial viability, being able to lay large format bricks and blocks at over 300 per hour, which is obviously much faster than a human and without the human limitations of size and weight. We've invested heavily in our comprehensive patent suite to ensure we can make the most of our first mover advantage, and we have a plan in place to introduce up to 300 of these unique machines into the most attractive construction market, the USA, with one of the world's largest building materials providers in CRH. Over the past few years, we've been working closely with their US-based subsidiaries in Oldcastle and Preferred Materials to align on a go-to-market strategy for the Hadrian X in the USA and potentially other parts of the world. They've collaborated with us as we work through our early-stage commercial progress here in Western Australia, as we build a range of different types of residential and commercial structures for real customers here, with the view that we might together introduce this technology and a wall-as-a-service business model to their very large customer base, firstly in Florida, and then potentially expanding from there into other states like Texas and Georgia. We're now at the point where the Hadrian X is on a ship bound for Florida, where we'll conduct a site acceptance test with CRH and then a 10-house build demonstration program with a number of different builders there. Now, should that all be successful and CRH exercises their joint venture option, FBR will receive a purchase order for the first 20 of the 300 machines to be delivered into the wall-as-a-service joint venture to provide erected walls to their customer base. The funds for the machine purchases will be provided by CRH through a $40 million rolling line of credit. This will provide the foundations necessary to properly establish this new business and service offering in Florida, with the view that if it is successful there, it could potentially be rolled out across other markets of interest.
Mike, I have a question for you, if you don't mind me interrupting. Talk a little bit about how you've moved away from traditional wet mortars to bond these blocks, and you've introduced construction adhesive instead. So what is that, and what advantages does this present to you and the builders?
Great question, Anna. Look, adhesive has many advantages over wet mortars. Firstly, it eliminates the need for sand, cement and water to even be present at the building site. It allows us to build vertically as high as we want in a day without needing to wait for anything to set, as the adhesive is fully set within 1 hour, and to build continuously course by course until the building is completed. It's about 1/4 of the cost of wet mortar and does not present any of the safety risks that silica dust does. It's 4 to 5 times stronger and has a life expectancy many times greater than wet mortar. Now, this bonding material has been used in construction for many years, in bonding timber to masonry, and it exists in most of the fittings and materials already in our homes. We have had the adhesive certified, obviously, for masonry to masonry now, and to allow us to maximise the robotic laying speed and process, and to increase the overall strength of load-bearing walls, which may have, then have concrete and steel embedded within them before they're stuccoed and rendered. If that makes sense, I hope, to you, Anna.
Absolutely, it does. Thank you.
And just before we move on, the image in this slide highlights, in our view, how a building site should look when the load-bearing walls are being erected. So this particular build was conducted in Perth, Western Australia, between 2 existing homes that the Hadrian had built previously, and was completed without producing a single pound of masonry waste on site. So neat, tidy and efficient.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
FBR is striving toward a cleaner and safer future, with a particular focus on people and the environment. Now, the Hadrian X is waterless and mortarless, meaning we can build almost anywhere, anytime. We use no sand, cement or water. We produce no dangerous silica dust. We minimise waste, and we can operate electrically if there's ground power available. Our view is that utilising robots on a building site will drastically reduce worksite safety risk. Now, FBR is poised to enter its largest target market. The USA has been experiencing an underbuild of residential housing, which has been occurring repeatedly over the past decade or so. This has put increasing demand on the industry to improve the output of new homes into the market. Currently, it's estimated there's a deficit of up to 20 million homes across the country. Builders everywhere are always looking to reduce costs and to improve productivity, with labour constraints being a persistent concern for the US looking ahead. We believe our technology has the potential to significantly improve this situation. Block or masonry construction is required to meet the strict building codes in the southeastern states of America, and it's well serviced by materials providers such as CRH. FBR offers a favourable solution to the needs of builders in Florida and Texas, having successfully achieved the required approvals and certifications. Florida and Texas experience high levels of net migration, with up to 1 million people moving to those states each year. Therefore, we see this as a long-term opportunity. This image in this slide shows the Hadrian building, a multi-storey townhouse development in Perth with triple leaf walls that are nearly 10 metres in height. We've been able to demonstrate the versatility of the machine by building a whole range of things from residential homes, commercial structures, multi-storey, high-density townhouse developments like the one you see in this image. So there's really nothing that the machine's not capable of building. And in terms of a structure of this size, you could potentially have 3 or 4 of these machines working collaboratively to build that structure even quicker than what we do today. So why CRH? Recently, FBR and CRH signed a suite of agreements that would facilitate the introduction of up to 300 Hadrian X machines into the US market. CRH has a global footprint and presence and has a market cap north of $50 billion US. Upon exercise of the JV option, the JV will sign a 20 machine purchase order, and CRH will provide the $40 million rolling loan facility to enable the swift scale up and manufacture of the machines. The JV will then introduce Wall as a Service to the US building community. And I'd just like to explain Wall as a Service for a moment. So currently, a builder or a construction company purchases the bricks or blocks for the building, which get delivered to site, and then the builder or construction company seeks out the masons to attend the site at some point in time to lay the blocks so that the construction process can continue. With Wall as a Service, the builder or construction company is simply purchasing a supply and lay service, removing the need for them to manage the logistics, and gets their walls built with a high level of time and cost forecastability. Now, we're currently halfway through the program with CRH, and we have received $1 million US from this $2 million program so far. And we anticipate that the remaining items within the program will be completed following the machine arrival in Florida. And the important points to mention here are that there's a machine cost to the JV has been set at $2 million US per unit for the first 100 machines, adjusted for CPI annually. The purchased order sequence for the machines that will be introduced in groups of 3 or 5, which are triggered by achievable performance metrics made up of a combination of gross margins and utilisation rates. Each tranche of machines is paid down over 12 years through a cash sweep of the annual net profits. The possible expansion rate via these structured tranches could be accelerated by agreement to meet the demands of the market. And to put all this into perspective, 300 Hadrian machines could potentially build up to 50,000 homes per year. So this is a significant undertaking. The roadmap ahead for us looks somewhat like this. So in the months ahead, obviously we'll be reporting on the arrival of the machine in Florida, the formal appointment of builders for the demonstration program, successful completion of the site acceptance test, completion of the 10-house demonstration program, JV option exercised and the provision of $40 million US debt facility, purchase order for 20 Hadrian X units valued at $40 million US, commercial agreements with key builder clients in Florida, and the shipping of further Hadrian X robots to Florida.
Mike, I'm going to pop in here for a second and ask a few questions as we get into the financials. First off, how much has FBR spent to date on R&D? And talk about how do you see your burn costs in the future?
Well, over the journey, we've spent about $170 million US developing the commercial Hadrian X through 3 design iterations over the last 8 or 9 years, which when you balance that off against what this technology could earn in the years ahead, it's very reasonable. Being a small robotics technology company with a modest cost base, our cost in developing this machine would be much less than what it would cost a major OEM to do the same, in our view. And like every pre-revenue company, we want to see the inflow of meaningful revenues as soon as possible. And whilst we've been conducting commercial work in Australia for about 3 years now, we've been highly focused on getting the technology and delivery model right. And only now can we see the most probable pathway to profitability through our entry and presence in the US building industry.
And talk a little bit about, from an investor's perspective, why should they be interested and invest in FBR?
Look, FBR's technology has the potential to revolutionise the construction industry. Using one of the most advanced construction robots in the world in one of the largest residential construction markets in the world. I think right now we have an amazing opportunity in front of us to capitalise on the hard work we've done to date as pioneers in outdoor robotics. And that's how we see ourselves at FBR. We have a technology with potential for rapid adoption, driving digitalisation into the construction industry, improving productivity and reducing safety risks, while reducing the amount of masonry waste entering our landfill sites and improving quality of life overall. Look, I hope to see Hadrian machines building the future on every continent and assisting governments and builders everywhere to put roofs over people's heads as we advance toward a more heavily populated and resource-constrained planet. I mean, that would be my answer to that question, Anna.
Absolutely. I do want to take a few questions from our viewers if we have time. Talk a little bit about what are the limitations of the size and weight. Our viewer George wants to know about that.
The limitations of the machine, if that's what he's asking. I mean, obviously it's a highway compliant machine. It weighs about 30 tonnes and it's the length of a large sort of Pantec type vehicle. And in terms of its worksite footprint, if you like, the machine's designed to build from the roadside, so it can pull up in front of the worksite, or if needed, over the curb and onto the actual worksite. And importantly, the 32-metre, I have to talk in metrics here, the 32-metre boom of the machine can reach out over the entire worksite from the one position. So, from an average size 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house perspective, the machine would arrive first thing in the morning, and by last thing of the work day, the machine is leaving and a complete house structure is ready.
And what materials is it capable of using? Cement, any alternative materials?
Yeah, so obviously your current building materials available in the market around the world today, so clay bricks and blocks, AAC, which is aerated autoclave concrete, and of course CMUs, cement masonry units. But it's important to note that the machine can lay a brick the size of your hand, or a brick that is 2 feet long and weighs 100 pounds, okay, and of any material. So if it looks like a brick or a block and it's shaped like a brick or a block, regardless of what it's made of, if it's the materials of the future, made of the world's recycled plastics or other waste materials, the Hadrian X future-proofed against any future developments in the brick and block space.
And Luke has a follow-up. So traditional load-bearing concrete walls are threaded with rebar. So are you still doing that, or is it not needed with the material you're using?
No, it's still needed. I mean, building codes govern what has to be placed into the walls. Not every cavity in every wall has steel and concrete in it. That, again, is dictated by the engineers or the people that are approving the structure. But we're laying off-the-shelf bricks and blocks. Like the blocks that you're going to see us using in the United States are the same ones you would buy from Home Depot or from Preferred Materials or from Oldcastle. And simply after the blocks are laid, the reinforcement is put down through the wall and tied off across the top, and then the certain cavities of the wall are filled with mortar or concrete.
And Julian wants to know what type of operator is needed to use the machines. Is it a human operating this?
It is. We traditionally send a 3-man team to site with the machine. So we have one loading, we have one operating, and we have a spare person floating around so that people can go to the bathroom or eat their lunch. But it can be operated on site completely all day just with 2 operators. But once the machine's programmed and set to run, it's just a matter of continually feeding it with pellets of bricks or blocks into the back of the machine. And then the machine will just continually lay until the structure's finished. So it's essentially a large 3D printer, only we don't use wet concrete materials as our 3D printing material. We're using off-the-shelf bricks and blocks as our additive material.
And what type of training is involved to be able to operate it?
Well, the training regime we're running for operators at the moment is tending to go between 4 and 6 weeks. We're utilising people that have some sort of construction-related background and that have reasonably basic IT skills. So if you are a current mason or bricklayer that understands how a building site works, and you go home at night and you play Fortnite or Call of Duty, I think you would potentially make a good Hadrian operator.
Okay. Max was late to your presentation, so he's asking what types of structures have you completed? Not sure if you showed some of those, so if you could talk about that again.
Yeah, and look, if they go to our website, of course, there's a lot of content on there that shows everything we've built since conception. But obviously, what we call single-story, fully detached, residential homes. We've built quite a lot of those here in Perth. Also, commercial centres, daycare centres, multi-storey units, townhouses, high-density developments. And we've done this for a reason, not just because they were the jobs that came along at the time. We've obviously had a lot of interest in this here, but we chose the jobs that would allow us to demonstrate the versatility and capability of the machine. So anything from a garden shed or a swimming pool or a barbecue all the way through to a multi-unit development site. And I did touch on this before. The only thing we haven't demonstrated yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that, and maybe in the US in the not too distant future, is multiple machines operating on the same building site, building the same structure. So collaborative construction robots. And this is particularly important when we look at these machines doing much larger commercial work. So for, strip malls and schools and commercial factories or factory units, to have a number of machines working on the same site, it does present a very compelling case against other building methods that we're currently seeing in the commercial sector.
Wow, it's fascinating that we are here. Mike, do you have any closing remarks for our viewers today?
No, look, I'd just like to thank everyone for their interest and, again, point them to our website. We do create our own content. We post everything that we can, but there's a lot of information there that I think will keep people interested, and I hope people choose to follow us into the future, particularly over the coming months as we venture into the United States to demonstrate our wares to the building community there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your presentation, and we'd love to have you back in the future with some of these updates.
Thanks so much.
All right, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back with our next presentation.